Om. Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-pada Shankaram Loka-shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Hari Om everybody. So we were on starting a new topic, Atma Vichara or contemplation. That is the heading Gurudev has given. And in this, what the theme is of this section is that, see, there are many philosophers, and some of them believe in Advaita. They say there is Advaita, but then they say that there is Dvaita also. So first there is Dvaita, and then when you realize, you recognize Advaita. That is how they say it. So Dvaita is there, and then you transcend it to go to Advaita. But what Bhagavan Shankaracharya maintains is that there is absolutely no Dvaita even now. That is the difference. So he says, even now there is only Advaita. It is not like Dvaita is there and it is real and then you will recognize Advaita. It is not like that. Advaita is always there. There is only Advaita. There is actually no Dvaita. That is what is maintained by Bhagavan Shankaracharya, and that is the contemplation that he is now doing in this section. Ananyatvammadhishtanat aropyasya nirikshitam panditairajju sarpadau vikalpo bhranti jivanaha. The wise have observed that the superimposition is identical with its substratum, just as the rope and the snake. The difference exists only because of delusion. So here we have a rope and snake example, which is a delusory impression of the snake. So idea is that even when I'm seeing the snake, is the rope not there? Can we say that while I'm seeing the snake, the rope is not there, and then when the light got turned on, then the rope came? We cannot say that. Even when I saw the snake, even when I see the snake, it is actually not there. It is a result of delusion. And in the world, that's why he claims, Bhagavan Shankaracharya claims that even though you see Dvaita, duality, manyness, variety, it is because of delusion, like you're seeing the snake or the silver on the shell. And actually there is only rope over there. And here, actually there is only Brahman. This is what he's saying. And the superimposition is always identical with the substratum, meaning if the rope is 10 foot long, the snake will be only 10 foot long. It will only be 10 feet. It will not be 9 feet or it will not be 11 feet. That is the idea. So the superimposition is exactly like the substratum, means this world that you see, wherever you see this world, like, galaxies and so many suns and so many solar systems, everything is the substratum only, which is the pure self. That is what he means here. And this is what has been observed by the wise. We get caught up in the duality so much. We are actually already caught up in duality so much, and we think perception is real. That needs to be understood, that everything that is perceived is not real. And we have given you many examples, the blue sky, or I don't see the gravitational pull, but can I say that it's not there? So some things that we don't see are there, and some things that we see are actually not there. So even though it appears real, the world appears real, I can touch, taste, smell, see it and hear it, it is only out of delusion. This is what he's saying. That's why he says that, and a projection cannot happen without the substratum. Can you ever see a movie without the screen? Or if the rope was not there only, would you ever see the snake? If it was not there only in the room, suddenly you can't say snake in nothing. So if you're seeing the world, idea is you are seeing the world. We do admit that, yes, you are seeing the world. And the reason that you're even seeing the world is because that substratum is there. If that substratum was not there, because that is other argument, how do you know that there is God? How do you know that there is a substratum? The very fact that you're seeing the world proves that there is the substratum. It's like the very fact that I am speaking proves that I'm alive, that there is this consciousness within me. That is the proof. So this is to be understood. This is what the whole now, like next next 3 verses, like Gurudev has written, the teacher is trying to express the inexpressible by communicating to us the ecstasy of his own lived experiences. This is the experience of the master, of the spiritual master who has realized the self. This is what he's now starting here in 408. Chitta mulo vikalpoyam chitta bhavena kaschana atashchitam samadehi pratyagrupe paratmani. The apparent universe, apparent, note the word apparent, not the real universe. The apparent, it's an appearance. What is apparent? It's appearing. It is an appearance, and an appearance is something which will disappear in time as well. The apparent universe has its root in the mind and cannot exist once the mind is annihilated. Therefore, dissolve the mind by fixing it on the most subjective supreme self. This, if you remember your experience in deep sleep, that will help you understand this verse, is that in deep sleep, where is the world? In our own deep sleep, do you even know where you yourself are or who you are? And where is that world which was either giving you happiness or giving you sorrow? Is it there? And that is what and the reason that the world is not there is because the mind has now gone into its causal state. In deep sleep, the mind merges into the causal state, which is the vasana level. There is avidya. Therefore, in sleep, there is avidya. Avidya of what? I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I don't know if this world is even there or not there. I'm not aware of my worries. I'm not aware of my happinesses. So there is complete ignorance. As opposed to samadhi, where the mind actually goes into the substratum. And in the substratum is knowledge. That is the difference between samadhi and sleep, deep sleep. So in deep sleep, there is avidya, but in samadhi, the person is aware of him being Brahman in samadhi. So here what he's saying is, chitta abhavena kash, chitta abhav means when the chitta, when the mind is not present, the universe is not there. And we see that even on our daily day-to-day lives. I've given you the example. I could be walking and my mind could be worried about something or thinking about something. And my own friend is walking from in front of me, and I don't even not recognize, it doesn't even register that there is somebody whom I know is walking towards me. And we have done that. All of us, I'm sure, have done that. I have definitely done. Or somebody says good morning and I've just walked out, and they're like, yeah, I said good morning to you in the morning. Oh, did you really? When? I don't know. So it is, everything is in the mind. The mind, the substratum of the mind is the pure consciousness. But the mind, because of its thought, creates this dichotomy of aham and idam. It is the mind that is doing it. This is me and this is mine, and this is you and that is yours. This aham idam bifurcation, dichotomy, is created by the mind. So if the mind is removed out of the equation, aham idam merge into aham, because there is only aham, there is no idam. This is what Bhagavan is saying. There is no idam, there is no universe. It is only apparent. So if the mind, it is the mind that is doing this aham idam. If the mind is removed, there cannot be any aham and there cannot be any idam either. Because idam is all dependent on aham. Only when I wake up, this whole world comes in front of me. The objects are there because of the subject. If the subject is not there, that's the example we gave in deep sleep, the subject, who is the mind, is not there. Because they're merged with the causal body, the world doesn't exist. So that's why what he's saying is, all this is created by the mind. Transcend the mind. In sleep, the mind is not transcended. It is only merged into the causal body. Whereas in samadhi, you have transcended the mind. You have transcended the thoughts, because mind is a flow of thought. So you have transcended the thoughts and you have reached the substratum of the mind, which is pure consciousness. That's what it is. Atashchitam samadehi. Therefore, dissolve the mind by fixing it on the most subjective supreme self. What does it mean, dissolve the mind? Shift your attention to the substratum instead of the thoughts that are playing on your mind, and you will become that. You are already that substratum. You'll recognize yourself to be that substratum. This is why he's saying, because the mind is the one that is playing this mischief of creating the apparent universe. Okay. And this, how do I do this? By getting over attachment. Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha that we are studying in Bhagavad Gita. That is how you will get the mind detached from the world. The mind, why is the mind running into the world? Because of attachment. So if that attachment is removed, then the mind is not going to run around here and there. Okay. Next. Kimapi satata bodham kevalananda rupam nirupamam ativelam nityamuktam niriham niravadhi gaganabham nishkalam nirvikalpam hridhi kalayanti vidvan brahma purnam samadhav. This last line will be repeated in the next few verses. And this is a description of the Supreme Self. Though the Supreme Self cannot be described, that's what Gurudev wrote before, that the inexpressible, Brahman is, you cannot describe it in words, but Bhagavan is trying to describe his own experience. And what is this experience and how did he gain it? So through samadhi, that's why final realization comes only with samadhi. It doesn't come with karma or karma yoga. But karma yoga is required to purify that mind, to make that mind capable of going into samadhi. The mind is not capable right now to go into samadhi. What is samadhi? Samadhi, where the intellect has become extremely equanimous. Because of its attachments, the intellect, because of the attachments in the mind, the attachments of the mind, the intellect cannot remain sama, equanimous. And Once that is achieved, then what happens? Through samadhi, the wise man realized the infinite Brahman in his heart as something inexplicably of the essence of eternal knowledge and complete bliss. So he comes to recognize himself to be the source of knowledge and the source of bliss. Because of that recognition that he himself is the source of bliss, he does not run after other things, which we are doing right now, because I think that the happiness is over there. And complete bliss, which is unparalleled. Because why unparalleled? Independent. Independent. It is a happiness in spite of, not because of. I'm happy because I have this, because I have that. It is not that. A dependent happiness can go away because you're depending on something. When that object goes away, your happiness also is going to go away. So it is not unparalleled. It cannot be unparalleled. If it is going to go away in a little while, then how it will be unparalleled? But this one is not good. That's why it's also called supreme, a point of no return. Okay, which is beyond all limitations, which is ever free. Limitations are because of space, time, and objects. I think that I am in this space and not in the other room. I think that I was born on this day and I'm going to go one day. And objects, I think I'm here, so no other object can be here. That is the limitation of space, time. And these are the three. Desha, Kala, Vastu limitation is there on anything which is finite. But now he has reached the infinite. And there is no limitation. So space, like space. Example, the closest example that we can understand is space. Okay. Which is unparalleled, which is beyond all limitations, which is ever free. It is never bound. We think we are bound, which has no activity and which is indivisible and absolute like the limitless sky. Sky means space here. Okay, Akasha. Niravadi Gaganabham Nishkalam Nirvikalpam, which has got no thoughts. Why? No antakaran. Where are the thoughts in the mind? In Brahman, there is no mind, there is no intellect, there is only knowledge, and there is only one. This is what he's saying. This he recognized in Samadhi, but we have to understand that even now we are that only. Though because of delusion, which he explained in the first verse that we read, it is because of delusion that I think I'm the body. And the minute I think I'm the body, then I'm limited. I'm here only. No? This body is only here. It's not in any other room. It is born on this day. Then one day, this is my age. So I'm limited by time and I'm limited by objects, because if I'm sitting here, then nothing else can be kept here on this chair. Those are the limitations which are not there in Brahman. Okay. Nishkalam Nirvyam, no parts. Prakruti Vikruti Shunyam Bhavanatita Bhavam Abhavam Samara Samasammanam Manasambandha no, sorry. Prakriti Vikruti Shunyam Bhavanatita Bhavam Samara Samanam Mana Sambandha Duram Nigama Vachana Siddham Nityam Asmat Prasiddham Ridi Kalayati Vidwan Brahma Purnam Samadhav. Here the important word is Nigama Vachana Siddham. Third line. Nigama is the Vedas, Shruti, Smriti. Okay. Vachana Siddham. Vachana, their statements. So this thing is proved. Siddham, proved by the statement of the Vedas. That means nobody can, means he's trying to say, I am not saying it. The Vedas have proved this. This is proved by the statement of the Vedas. What is proved? The other things. Through Samadhi, the wise man realizes, that is the last line, Ridi Kalayati Vidvan Brahma Purna Samadhav, is through Samadhi, the wise man realizes the infinite Brahman in his heart as devoid of the concepts of cause and effects. It is beyond cause and effect. This is the question that Nachiketas asked in Kathopanishad. Tell me that which is beyond dharma, adharma. It's beyond cause and effect. So when he says, tell me that which is beyond cause and effect, means he's asking for a causeless cause. Because every cause, every effect has a cause. So every effect, whatever that we see in this world has a cause. And then that effect also can become a cause for something else. Okay. But this one, there is no, you cannot go beyond. That's why supreme, you cannot go beyond Brahman. So what is beyond Brahman? What is subtler than Brahman? Where did Brahman come from? Where did God come from? These type of questions should not arise. That's why it is beyond cause and effect, because cause and effect are pairs of opposites. They are in duality. There's a cause, there is an effect. There are two things. Whereas this is the causeless cause. So there is only one thing, Advaita. There is nothing else. As the reality beyond all fancy, as homogeneous and matchless, beyond all proofs, established by the declarations of the scriptures. That is that Nigama Vachana Siddha. Established. This is, as I have realized it in Samadhi, that wise man says, but this has been established by Vedas also. It's not like I only realized and I'm the only one and I'm saying it. No, 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 no. What I have experienced is already stated in the Shruti, in the Vedas. Okay, always ingrained in us as the ego. This should be understood. So here, Nityam Asmat Prasiddham. That word has to Nityam Asmat. What is this Asmat Pratyaya? Is Aham, I. Asmat Pratyaya, this word, this means I. Now, in this world, when we are living, doesn't the I come everywhere? Without the I, there cannot be any I thought, I did, I saw. Does anybody say saw, thought? Who thought? If you just say thought, then it's who thought. So everything is tied to the I, and I use that word all the time. Asmat Pratyay is the one, this aham, is used maximum times by us. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan uses the word aham. The maximum number of, if you were to count all the words, aham has come the maximum number of times. And what I'm doing is I'm using this word aham all the time without realizing that it is the pure self and not the ego. I am using it in delusion as the ego. Because when I say I see, I see, I hear, I smell, I touch, I do, I enjoy, it is belonging to the ego. So even though I am, because aham word is for pure consciousness also. What is aham? Aham is that which can be destroyed. Aham is opposite, means that which can never be destroyed. So aham actually means pure consciousness, because that's that which can never be destroyed. That is aham. I am using aham all the time. All the time. Throughout the day I'm using. Right? But then am I using it in the correct sense? In the correct meaning? No, I'm not. I'm using it as jiva or ego. That's why I said Nityam Asmat Prasiddham. Prasiddham means everybody. Can you ask anybody in the world? Do you know what I is? Of course. What do you mean? I know. I am I. Nobody will say I don't know who this I is. Nobody will say I don't know who Aham is. It's only the Vedantic students now know the difference. We as students, we know the difference. And we must recognize that whenever I'm using the I, I'm using it in the sense of the ego. So even though in the transactional world, this is practice for us. This is the thoughts of a realized master. So as students, as seekers, even though in the transactional world, I have to use that word in the ego sense. Why? Because somebody will ask me, my boss will ask me, did you do this project? Is this, of course, I completed it, you're going to say. You have to say that. I cooked the meal. I ate, I was hungry, I ate, I wanted to go for a movie. So I went for a movie. So we will use it. But as seekers, we should know that actually what it is the ego which has done all this. The ego has eaten, felt hungry, eaten, cooked a meal, gone for a movie. Everything has been done by the jiva. And actually, I'm a witness of that. That witnesshood is recognized in samadhi, but for us, at this level, at least that differentiation we can do. We must do by this time. This is what he's saying. And Prakriti Vikruti Shunyam. This is what it is. Prakriti and Vikruti. Prakriti, as we know, Vikruti is modifications, and all modifications happen in Prakriti, which is Maya or Avidya. Why? Because of the gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Guna. We have talked a lot about these gunas. So it is because of the gunas that these modifications are happening. But in meditation, when I read Samadhi, I recognize that I'm beyond Prakriti and Vikruti. Means what? I'm beyond Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. I'm one homogeneous mass of bliss, and there is no duality whatsoever. All right? Homogeneous and matchless, beyond all proof. Manasa sambandha duram, that is beyond all. Proof is always asked for by the intellect. Intellect is the prove it to me. You said that, oh, how do you know that is true? So this I recognize, I go beyond the intellect and recognize it. So it cannot be proved by the intellect. It is something which is beyond the intellect. And I have reached there. The realized master says, I have reached there. Okay. And this Nityam Asmat Pratyay, which was every day I was using this word, aham, aham, I did. Now I know what that I actually is. All right. Now, again, he's explaining even more. Ajaram, Amaram, Asta, Abhava, Vastu, Swarupam, Stimita, Salila, Rashi, Prakhyam, Akhya, Vihinam, Shamita Gunavikaram, Shashwatam, Shantamekam, Radi Kalayati Vidvan, Brahma Purnam, Samadhau. See, the last line is the same, indicating these are, the realized master has in Samadhi recognized all these things. Now, what has he recognized in this verse? Through Samadhi, the wise man realizes the infinite Brahman in his heart. When he realizes, it means what? It is as undecaying and immortal. This must not be, that's why the word is used in his heart. Means what? Means he recognizes himself to be immortal and undecaying. This should not be understood as there is this Brahman over here, which is undecaying and etc., etc. That's why the word is used, Brahman in his heart. That means I myself am what? Ajara, not born. Not getting old, so undecaying. Amara, immortal, no death. As the positive entity which debars all negations, which is like a calm ocean, which has no name, in which there are neither merits nor demerits, which is eternal, tranquil, and one. So this is what he recognizes. This is, the calmness. If any one of you have seen the show Hawaii Five-0, in the titles, at the last, they show that huge wave coming and they freeze that shot. Like they show the waves in the ocean and then it freezes. So like that is the calmness. Suddenly the waves are all dancing very exuberantly, very in speed the waves are going, but then suddenly at one point they freeze. And then that calmness is there. And that is the kind of calmness that one experiences in Samadhi. This is only theory that I know. I have not experienced. This is what Bhagwan is saying here. He's explaining this. And in which there are neither merits nor that's merits or papa punya is not. All these fall. They are pairs of opposites. Papa punya, joy, sorrow, honor, dishonor. All these are pairs of opposites. And these pairs of opposites are created by the mind. So now that the mind intellect is transcended, there are no pairs of opposites over there. That's why that question was there in Kathopanishad. Tell me that which is beyond dharma and adharma. He doesn't say, tell me what is dharma. Yeah, I don't want to know dharma. Dharma I know. Tell me there is something beyond dharma. Is it adharma? No. Beyond dharma and beyond adharma as well. That's why it said here, neither merits nor demerits. in the as undecaying and im asta abhava. Here, asta abhava. See this abhava. Abhava means absence. Bhava is presence. Abhava is absence. So where all thoughts have set, asta abhava. So all the thoughts, because the mind is transcended, so there are no thoughts. This abhava in Sankhya philosophy, they have no Nyaya in okay. There are, if you read this paragraph on the next page, Gurudev has explained. There's not really need, but he has explained the Nyaya philosophy. They talk about this absences. So there is pragabhav and there is pratyagabhav. Now, what is this pragabhav and pratyagabhav? See, before a child is born, the child was absent. So pragabhav. Okay, because the child was absent before its birth, as and when it is born, it is said this child was born at this time on this day, because before that there was abhava of that child and there was some conscious being to say that. So the mother says that this child was not there till yesterday and now this child is there. Now, after the death of a person, there is somebody there saying this person was alive till today and then tomorrow he's not there. So that is called pradvansabhas, means posterior absence and absence in the beginning. That is pragabhav. Prag is before. So before there was non-existence, then the child came into existence, and after the death of that person, there will be pragabhav, pradvansabhav, posterior absence. Now, the thing to be understood here is that if we say that consciousness is amara, immortal, there is no death, there is no birth. The logic behind that, one is faith. The Vedas have said it, there is faith. But the logic behind that is, if we say that consciousness came into existence at a particular time, first of all, consciousness is beyond time. That is one reason that we can never say that consciousness was born at this time, because it is beyond time. Time came after consciousness. It is not like, see, for us, our body, it came after time. Time was already going on. The world was already going on. Now we came into this world. And then at one point we will leave the world and time will still continue and world will still continue. However, for Brahman, for pure consciousness, time was not there. Consciousness was there and there was no time. That is one reason. The second reason is that logical reason is that if you say that consciousness came into existence at this point, who is there to prove pragabhav? See, if I say that this thing has come into consciousness right now, somebody has to be there, a conscious being has to be there to prove pragabhav. Proof of pragabhav has to be there for us to know that a person or an object came into being at this point in time. Do you get this point? Do you understand this? I show you this pen, okay? Now, I am there or you are there, sentient beings, saying that this pen came in front of our eyes at 7:03. But at 7 o'clock, you were here, but the pen was not here. So you are the proof. You have proven that before 7:03, this pen was not there because you're sentient beings. And then at 7:03, you saw the pen. And then at 7:04, the pen disappeared. So you are the proof of pragabhav and pradvansabhav. So absence before and absence after. That's why you know that this pen existed between 7:03 and 7:04. You get this point? If this pen were consciousness, okay, so this consciousness. So if this is consciousness, there was no consciousness before. Then who can say that before there was no consciousness? This is a very subtle point. This is a logical explanation of unborn. Why is pure consciousness called unborn? Because unborn, so no death. So death you can understand. Even to prove death, after death of that person, somebody, some other live person has to be there to say that yesterday this person was here and today this person is not there. Now, if we say that consciousness died at some point, who is there to say that afterward there's no consciousness? You get this? This is that asta abhav that he's talking about here. See, two kinds of abhavas are possible. This is what Gurudev has written. That's why I'm explaining it. Shashvatam shantam ekam shamita guna vikaram. So undecaying and immortal, and a positive entity which debars all negative. This positive entity is being said to negate the Buddhist Shunyavadins, because they said that there is nothing and the world came out of nothing. That's what they say. So that's why we have to understand that when in samadhi, we don't go into nothingness. That's why it's not like an onion where you'll keep peeling and nothing will remain. It is like the munja grass where you peel and the sweet stalk is in between there. This is the experience of a realized master. This is what he's talking. Stimita, that is very, very, stimita is when you're suddenly stunned. That is stimita. Suddenly you see something huge like Niagara Falls for the first time. You're like, oh my God, how big this is. That sort of thing. Okay. Rashi Prakhya Akham, positive which is like the calm ocean, which has no name. There is no name. Sant Naneshwar is the one that has said that even when we say Brahman, we are tainting the pure consciousness, he says. No name can be used to express that. It is the existence principle. This is the experience. We have heard all these words before. Ajara, Amara, Asta Abhava, Asta Abhava, Asta is, there is no setting. Asta is setting. So the pure consciousness never sets, never dies. Okay. Vastu Swarupam. It is of a positive nature. And ekam, there is only one. There is no duality whatsoever. This is making sense? Okay. All right. Okay. Samahitanta karana swarupe vilokayatmana khanda vaibhavam vichindha bandham bhavagandha gandhitam yatnena punswam safali kurushva. With a controlled mind in samadhi, see in your own self. In my book, it is only see in you, but I think it's yours. See in your own self the Atman of undying splendor. Cut off your bondages, which have been strengthened by the impressions of your previous births, and successfully strive to realize the fulfillment of a human birth. So a few points here. Strive to realize the fulfillment of a human birth, which is telling us that the fulfillment of human birth, the purpose of human birth, the ultimate goal of a human birth is to get moksha, as given by the scriptures. This is given by the scriptures, not Bhagwan is saying it. So that is the ultimate goal. Now, how do I start to gain that goal? Is with a controlled mind. So karma yoga comes into play here. How do I control the mind? By converting karma into karma yoga, making the mind calm, and by reducing attachment. That is what we are studying now in chapter 4, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. That is the first step, sadhana, Vita Raga, Vigata, Raga, attachment. Without attachments have to be cut off, which will take care of fear and anger both. It's not three things, it is only one thing. So controlled mind will come by karma yoga, and it will come by reducing attachments. Because ultimately the attachment to the body also has to be given up. So first we should start reducing attachment to the world. That's what we'll say in Dhanam. We said that this Dhanam is we have to devalue the world, that it has to lead us to that. That will only give the mind the control. Otherwise, the mind is going to keep running into outside objects. See in your own self the Atman of undying splendor, because it is, awareness. It is full of knowledge. It is full of bliss. So, and this is, you have to have faith in the words. Okay. Cut off your bondages which have been strengthened by the impressions, vasanas. What is impressions of your previous births? What have we brought from our previous birth? Vasanas. So the thicker the vasana, the stronger the vasana, the stronger will be the thought, stronger will be the desire, and then intense will be the action. This is the genesis of action. Vasanas we have brought from our previous birth. That vasana, the stronger it is, the stronger it will arise in the mind as a strong desire, and strong desire will give rise to a strong action. And to negate this chain, we need karma yoga, so that when the desire comes and when I do action, if I surrender the ego to the Lord and do everything with Ishwararpana Buddhi, means whatever result will come, I will take it as prasad. If I can have that, I don't have that. When I have the strong desire, I definitely want this result only. And now I'm going to do very much hard work. And that result, when it doesn't come, or even when it comes, what we do is we strengthen our vasana. Because when it doesn't come, we go after it even more. And when it comes, we go after more of it, because greed comes. That is how these vasanas are being strengthened. So they need to be weakened. Vasanas have to be weakened, and vasanas can be weakened. You can't touch the vasanas. You don't know what vasana is there. So when it arises as a thought, at that time, control. That's why with a controlled mind. What is the control? Control is on the thoughts that are coming. You must be able to control your thoughts. You must be able to tell the mind that I want to think in this direction, because the mind is, for births and births, it is used to thinking I'm the body. That's what mind is thinking. That's what we were thinking also. Now we have to change it to I'm not the body, I'm the soul, I'm Jiva. Then I'm this thing. So these bondages, cut off bondages, what? Vitaraga. Cut off your attachment. They are binding us. Attachment binds. Bondage is always in the mind. It is never in the external. The object that I love the most, I'm not carrying it on my shoulders day and night, but in my mind have constantly worried, oh, will I lose it, will I lose it, will I lose it? So in the mind, it has to be taken care of, and successfully be there only for a person who is with a controlled mind. And if you take it in the language of the gunas, make the mind more and more sattvic. How do you make it more sattvic? By reducing rajas and tamas. And that's why the tapa is given. We're doing it in chapter 17, the tapas. Why is there tapas? Tapas is to do adhikari shuddhi. Tapas, the equipment that we have is body, mind, intellect. All this intellect equipment has to be purified. And that is tapas. Whatever you do to purify your mind becomes tapas. And that tapas will then make it easier in meditation, make it easier for you to go into samadhi. Tapas itself is directly no, but indirectly yes. That you're preparing your equipment to take the flight into the unknown. Okay. All right. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam sat Chidanandam advayam bhavayatmanamatmastham na bhuya kalpase dhvani. Meditate upon that Atman, which is yourself, which is beyond all limitations, which is existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, and non-dual. Never will you come under the sway of births and deaths. A promise. Promise. So make the equipment ready for flight into samadhi, into meditation. It is not very easily said, because the mind, Arjun said, it is like wild horses. But Bhagavan has given the antidote: vairagya, abhyasa, and vairagya. Dispassion. Okay, that is the cut off bondages, what he said. Dispassion. That is required. So with that dispassion, sarva upadhi vinirmuktam, become free of all the upadhis. What are the upadhis? Body, mind, intellect. How do you become free? Not by destroying them physically. There is no physical destruction to be done. It is a recognition that this is false. recognize everything, Vedanta, everything is in the mind only. There's nothing external. Externally, you're not going to hurt the body, you're not going to hurt the mind, you're not going to do anything. But inside, you must be very, 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 very firm that this is matter equipment and I am not matter. I am Purusha. I am that pure self. This is an equipment which is given to me to use. I don't become the equipment. I am not the equipment. That is what is meant by Sarva Upadhi Vinirmukta. You'll be freed from the Upadhis. Means it is not going to have that much hold over you. You know, when people are so much worried about appearance and, you know, a little bit somebody said, then I'm hurt and I'm this and I'm that. What is it? Because that is, we have given reality to the Upadhi. If somebody says you're fat and I feel bad, that means it is real. Really, my body is fat. That is real. But if I know it's okay, it's only the body. I am neither fat nor thin. Neither can I become fat as the Supreme Self, nor can I become thin. So this Vinir Muktam is in the mind. Visheshena Muktam means extremely detached, free. Muktam is free. Be free from the equipments. Okay, not destroying, nothing physical. In the mind, understand that the upadhis are matter equipments. They are illusory. And what I am is Satchit Anandam Advayam. I am that Satchit Anand and Advayam. There is nobody else. Okay. Bhavayatmanam. So think like that. That is what I'm telling you. We have been programmed to think I'm the body, mind, intellect. Now reverse that thinking process and think I am the soul with a body. We are used to saying I am the body, or we are also used to saying, okay, I'm a soul in the body, right? There is this body and my soul is inside. That is also not correct. The actual correct thought is this body is in consciousness, because consciousness is all pervading. And this body is my equipment and I have to make use of it. And that's why I would like to keep it healthy and strong. Otherwise, I can't work. I can't sit for meditation. I can't read. If there is aches and pains and this and that, then I can't. Okay. And then if you can recognize that self, you will never be subject to birth and death. That is samsara. So birth and death is, don't even think as the final birth and final death. You know, these ups and downs that we go through. There is birth of happiness, then there is birth of sorrow. So that birth and death is going on every minute to minute. I'm born as a happy person. I'm born as a jealous person. I'm born as an angry person. Then I die as an angry person. I die as a happy person. I become sorrowful. So there's birth of sorrow, death of happiness. So this is also the birth and death. That is samsara. There is one final death of the body. That is okay. There will be no more birth. But even right now, we are going through births and deaths in our mind. Think. I'm very happy today. So today, birth is as a happy person. Tomorrow, I'm depressed, sad. Now there is happy person has died. Sorrowful person is born. Jealous person is born. Angry person has died. So constant birth and death is going on. That is samsara. That is what we call samsara. Samsarati iti samsara. Thoughts, you know, one thought is going to remain equanimous. How do I get freed from the birth and remain equanimous? Joy came, okay, fine, no problem. Sorrow came, okay, fine, no problem. Then you are free from the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, constantly, every minute, birth and death is going on. Okay? All right. Now he's going to explain, give up perceptions. Okay. Chaiva punsa paridrishyamanam abhasa rupena phalanubhutya shariramara chavanirastam punarna sandhatta idam mahatma. Once the body has been cast off like a corpse, the wise man does not attach himself to it, though like man's shadow, it is still visible owing to the effects of past actions. Okay. This is what is known as Kaya Chaya Viveka. I told you there are many, many Viveka. Okay, so what is he saying? Body has been cast off like a corpse. In this verse, he's talking about a realized master, not a dead person. Huh? Not a dead person. This is not physical death. This is the death of the ego. So what happens is, in that realization in samadhi that I am that Satchit Ananda, the body suddenly, it is an illusion. The person knows that it is an illusion. So the body is like a chaya, shadow. Right now we consider it kaya, real. Kaya is body. This kaya chaya viveka has to be done. Gurudev has given this example. You're walking and your shadow is, just as your shadow is following you when you're walking, and say somebody walking next to you spits on that shadow, or a truck is going by, it goes on top of your shadow. Do you get angry at the truck or the person who spat? Because you know that it is your shadow, it is not you. So the realized master considers this body as a shadow. So if anybody spits at him, and this, you might think that this seems like, doesn't seem very real. You should read Bhikshu Gita from Bhagavad Puran. In Bhikshu Gita, the story is of this person who was a loan shark, very, very cruel person he was. And he had troubled so many people, like he would take, loan shark. So he'll give money and then he'll harass them for repayment and interest, this, that. But somehow, by some fluke, by his previous whatever merits, in this life he had not done a single merit, but something happens and he realizes. And he becomes a bhikshu. He gives up everything. Now, all the people are thinking he is doing drama. Because how all these years this person was so cruel. Now, in one day, he suddenly changed. But that is what happens. That is what happens in samadhi. You just change instantly. So he changed. So you know what they did? They said, okay, let me go spit on him. They spat in his food. They urinated. This is all in the Bhikshu Gita. I'm not exaggerating. You read Bhikshu Gita. It's in Bhagavad Puran. And Guruji's commentary is there on that. The book is there, Bhikshu Gita. They go spit in his food. They go spit on him. They go urinate on him. They go urinate in his food. No reaction at all from him. No reaction. That is what is known as kaya chaya vivek. That's what happens when the person realizes that this body is only a shadow. Just like, truck will go on the shadow. People may urinate on your shadow. People may spit on your shadow. Are you going to get angry every time? It's possible only for realized masters. Huh? Don't even think. We are not even anywhere close there. I'm just telling what he's saying. So cast off like a corpse is by a living person who has ultimately recognized the matter equipment to be matter. And now it is not cast off like, if there is a corpse, do I look at it? Suppose if I vomit, do I look, oh, what did I vomit? How much did I vomit? How does it look? Do I go look at that vomit over and over again? I've thrown it out. So this person in the mind has thrown the body away. Now he's not going to worry about the body. Whatever happens to, if the food is meant to come, it will come. If the thing is, upon Maharaj's life, we see that. He would be wondering, Then one robber came to him to rob him. He said, I only have this shirt. You want, I'll give you the shirt. So the robber only felt sorrow for him. This is sorry for him. This is true, huh? This is not story. This is true. So the robber only felt sorry for Tapan Maharaj. He said, do you have any food? He said, no, I don't. He said, okay, I've got one roti. Let's eat half and half. So he gave him half roti. Then Swami Tapan Maharaj had malaria. 44 days he went through that shivering thing. You know how malaria is. Those who have been in India. You shiver, and then you feel cold, and then the temperature rises, and you feel cold. So 44 days. He said, if the body is going to live by its own prarabdha, it will live. Why do I need to go to a doctor? He didn't go. 44 days. This is real. This is real. Okay. That is this kaya chaya. We should not do it. We should not do that. We should immediately go to the doctor and take medication. Not there. Okay. So not attach himself to it. Though like a man's shadow, it is still visible. That's why we say that the body doesn't die all of a sudden. Now, when the person realizes the body, owing to the effects of past actions, prarabdha, Body is controlled by prarabdha. Body will only end when the prarabdha of the body ends, and not a minute before and not a minute after. If you have this firm fixation, thought, which you will, because in samadhi, you will recognize yourself to be that eternal self. Now this body like a shadow you're carrying, and you say, okay, prarabdha of the body, let it go through it. And it has to go through it. Prarabdha karma doesn't burn. Sanchita and agami karma burn at samadhi. Prarabdha doesn't burn. Prarabdha karma is very, very strong. It can only be exhausted by experiencing. That's why even if our body gets some disease or is not well, we should have this thought that, okay, the body is going through its prarabdha. And Sant Ramdas, in his Manache Shlok, he actually says, when the body has any disease, you should feel happy. Why? Bad karma is getting exhausted. Because it is because of our past sins that the body is suffering. Because soul never suffers. Please remember, Jiva doesn't get COVID. Body gets COVID. Jiva doesn't get pneumonia or whatever, cancer, heart disease. Jiva is not getting anything. Body is getting everything. So if you know, you should know as a seeker, as a spiritual student, you should know that this is because of some bad karma that I did in the past. So Sant Ramdas says, when that dukkha comes to you, why? Because we get sad now, this happened to me, then you feel happy because your past bad karma is exhausting in that. And when you actually happiness comes, then you should feel sad. Why? Because punya karma is exhausted. Now this sukha came, punya karma is gone, that much reduced. This is what our thinking should be. We should practice this because of the knowledge that we are now getting, and then we will get established in it. So in the beginning, you may have to force yourself to think like that. And accepting that the body has disease does not mean that you don't treat it. That I'm telling you again. You go to the doctor, you do whatever, surgery is required, Tylenol is required, medication is required, whatever is required you do, but don't complain, and don't blame. Know that this is your prarabdha, which is exhausting. This the realized master knows. This is because he has realized, he considers his body, he throws it away like a corpse, not like throws it away. He knows it's there, but only that much importance should be given as a person would give a corpse. Okay, so that much importance given. If anything comes to the body, you say, okay, this is prarabdha karma, and then that's why Tapon Maharaj said, if the body is supposed to die, he'll die. And he got well. Without any medication, he got well. Why? Body's prarabdha is to get well, it will get well. That's why we should never even blame the doctors or the medicines. Something goes wrong in surgery, this thing, it is our prarabdha. The body's prarabdha that is giving us that. But then we blame, oh, doctor did this, that's why this happened, this happened, this happened. It's not like that. As spiritual seekers, we should know. Okay, we will continue next time. Any questions so far? Everybody okay?
I just wanted to add a point. When you said about prarabdha karma, and also you said that you should take medication if you get
sick. Of course.
If you get sick. I get a little confused in that one because I did experiment stopping medication. I said it's prarabdha, it will take care. And I know what you say, but sometimes at this, one gets a feeling. But yes, it's a good point that you made, that how to make a proper decision is quite difficult.
See, the thing is, what has come to you is destiny. It is because of your past karma. Okay, whatever. What you do is purushartha. self-effort is also there, right? So understand that this has come because of my past karmas. I have no problem with it. And if I can treat it in any way, I will. And you must, because you need the body now. The other thing is, without taking medication, if I don't take medication and my body deteriorates, it's trouble for other people also. So that thought also you must have. That thought also you must have, that I should not trouble anybody. Let me take care of my body. But in my mind, I should always know. That's why it is said inside drama, outside drama. In my mind, I know that, okay, this is, but I don't want to trouble anybody else. That's why I need to keep this body in a certain condition as good as I can. And that's why you take the medication. There's no confusion. There's no confusion. Okay.
I just want to add one more thing. You've been covering this class for, it's almost 2+ years. And it's almost like 62 videos that I can see. It's a long effort. And one thought that occurred to me is at least we should come up with one word of our understanding. I think we should make it to the class, or at least send it to you so that you can have a look at it and see what our understanding is.
Sure.
It's almost 2 years you covered without fail.
And I intend to complete it in the next year. Fingers crossed. It'll go faster now. It takes 2 years. What to do? It's such a huge text. So if you feel the need to write something, and you can always send it to me. You have my email address.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this sort of a text, it is not a text where we can now go back and do discussion.
No, I understand. I understand. But the thing is, it's 2 years of listening to you. Some verses, I'm pretty sure, are very clear. For example, 109, that verse has gotten to me so many times. I'd read it again and again. And again, about 2 weeks ago, you talked about Samadhi, when you introduced Samadhi. It is absolutely, it's a very revealing thought. I said, each one of us, okay, at least for me, I should put it to you. Yeah.
Sure. Please go ahead. Does everybody get the point of what Naranji is saying? He's saying that at least whatever verse that you think that you have understood it very well, he wants to write it and send it to me. And all of you are welcome to do that. You can pick any verse. And like you said, this Samadhi, already Bhagavan, I told you, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is repeating. And I also told you why. Right? Because it is not an easy subject to grasp. And just like a mother would tell her small child over and over again, don't lose the key, don't do this, don't do that. Bhagavan is telling us children, we are children in front of Bhagavan, kindergarten. He's telling us again and again. So don't be angry at him, or definitely don't be angry at me because I'm not repeating. I don't want to omit something. So that's why I'm trying to go fast. I know there are certain portions like, this we have covered. So all of you are more than welcome to write whatever. You can send it to my email address and I will read it, and I will, if you want, I can put my comments on it and send it back to you. And that's open to all of you. Okay. It's not mandatory. So who don't want to do it, that's fine too. But it's a very good idea, because that way you will know if you're, see, the teacher speaks, right? Each one of us, even when I'm listening to, as per our mind, our understanding level is different. how I take that verse, how I understand it, how I imbibe it, and then how I bring it out into my own life, which is the most important thing. I have to bring it into my life also. It is not just a teaching and then, okay, you learned and then forget about it. This is a subjective teaching. We need to bring it. So whoever wants to write can write and send it to me on email. Okay. And we'll try and complete it by next June, so that then we'll see whatever. Okay. Because I keep thinking about the class, please remember, is an effect of the joint vasanas that all of you have. It's a fructification. This is what it is. All of you have those vasanas of listening, and that's why this class is going on. Think about it. If all of you say you don't want to attend, how can I take the class? So it is a result of the total vasana pool that is there within all of you. And then I have the vasana to teach. I also have that. If I didn't have, then I would have said, no, I don't want to teach. So I have that vasana, but my vasana is dependent on yours. So your vasanas are more important. I can go on saying I want to teach, however, nobody is there to listen to who I will teach. Teach myself. So that's why. Okay. So whatever you feel, please feel free to write down, pick any verse that you want, and you can write it to me. Just write the verse number, so I know which verse you're referring to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jayaji,
Yes.
Jayaji. See, right now you were saying about the vasanas, collective vasanas of our students and you as a teacher and all that. So when you said something about being equanimous when joy comes and when sorrow comes, so I just wanted to understand more about when you get the sorrow, you can, I mean, we understand, okay, so this is a prarabdha, whatever we have done before, and it has come. But when joy comes, again, we understand whatever is our past vasanas or whatever, it has come. But how do you deal with the joy and with the sorrow?
How do you
deal with it? Meaning we don't want to create more vasanas. Then how do you deal with it?
That's the reason. So you get a thing of joy. Now you're calling 100 people. This one. You know what? You've created a vasana. And when will I get this joy again? When will I get this joy? I've given you the example of the movie. You go to a movie, you see the, when do I get to see that? When do I get to see that? When that sort of intense emotions come, now you're creating a vasana. So you get a joy, you say, okay, fine. And enjoy it also. Not that you don't enjoy it. You enjoy also. Sorrow comes, you'll say, yo, why did I get it? The minute you say why I got it, another vasana is created. And that's the first thing, by me.
Okay.
First thing that comes, by me. Why this happened to me only? Why not my neighbor? Why did it happen to me? So, and then I hope it doesn't happen again. I hope it doesn't happen again. So when that continuous thought process is there, you're creating a vasana. So sorrow comes, you quietly accept it. You say, okay, and figure out how you can deal with it. That you have to figure out. So figure out in your mind. Don't tell 100 people. Whoever you think can help you. Like in my case, anything happens, I tell my children, because now I'm like sort of dependent on it. Dependent is not like financially, but if it was my husband, I would have talked to my husband. But if something comes in my life, I talk to my children that this is, this may happen. How should I handle this situation or that situation? So talk about it, but not like, telling and then worrying about it. So what will happen to me? What will happen to me? There's no need to worry. There you should bring that thing. If my body is this, see, I was talking to my cousin and she said, oh, there was so much paranoia about COVID. I said, you know what? I was not paranoid, honestly. Because you know why? Because I know that the prarabdha of the body is what is going to do it or not do it. That doesn't mean I was not careful. I was wearing a mask. I was following all the rules, but there was never any paranoia. Paranoia is extreme fear. I had no fear. I'll be very, very honest with you, because of this teaching. Because I know that if the body is going to get it, it'll get it. So why? But take care, take your vaccination, take your booster, wear your mask, sanitize your hands, wash your hands, all that I did. But no fear in the mind. Whereas people have lived with fear, literally afraid to even step out of the house, some of my friends, for the first 2 months. What nonsense. I think that I was going for a walk every single day, especially when gym was closed, everything was closed. What alone, what will I do? And outside, there's hardly anybody. It's not like India that you're walking in a crowd, right? So that is how you avoid the next Vasana. That is what is meant by remaining equanimous.
Yeah, because this was something that I was thinking about in the other class when Prem Sai said, you know, how do you avoid this Vasana creating, even if that first thought is like, as you said, why me? That first thought does come. But then after that, you realize, so
Yeah.
whether that...
Yeah. And as you progress in your studies, that thought should not come. It will not come. As you, that's why the repetition, that's why the classes, that you keep hammering onto you, where a stage will come. Even when my husband passed, I didn't say, why me? I didn't say. That never came. Okay, this has come. Now, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
So it should not come. That's how you will create more vasanas. Okay. All right. So next Friday, there is class. We will meet next Friday, and Sunday, there is class. Monday, there is no class. So those of you who are attending Sunday class, there is the class at 9:15, and Monday, there is no class. So we will have the class on the 17th. So this Monday, there is no class, but Sunday, there is a class. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेव अवशिष्यते। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। हरि ओम everybody.
Thank you.